October 13th, 2011, in East Dubuque, Illinois. Flyers began appearing in the small town asking for help in finding a missing 14-year-old girl named Cheyenne Kircher. She was well known in the community and came from a home many described as troubled. So when her family woke one morning to find she had vanished, it wasn't entirely unexpected. What they didn't expect, though, was the letter she left behind. The letter read, "Mom and Dad, you haven't done nothing wrong. But by the time you get this letter, I will be gone. Don't worry about me. I will always love you. You won't find me because I don't want to be found. So at last, I say goodbye. Love, Shy." The handwriting was confirmed to be hers, and forensic analysts later determined the note hadn't been written under any sort of duress, leading investigators to classify Cheyenne's case as a voluntary runaway. Naturally, this left a lot of questions. Why did she leave? And most importantly, where had she gone? As weeks turned to months, and then to a year, Cheyenne's trail started to go cold. Apart from the note, she had managed to leave no trace behind. That is, at least in the physical world.
Hi everybody, this is the new profile of Shy Shylin Show.
Despite being described as socially awkward, Cheyenne had found a place for herself online. She was active on Facebook and maintained multiple YouTube channels, though most of them remained largely unknown. Her very first channel, for example, had only 4 subscribers. But for investigators, these accounts provided a rare window into Cheyenne's life. Through her videos, they were able to catch a glimpse into what life looked like for Cheyenne in the months and years leading up to her disappearance.
Hi everybody, I'm back and I'm ready for action.
To some, it came as little surprise that Cheyenne would want to leave the house where she'd grown up. She lived there with her 3 siblings and her mother, Lori Lyons. Though she had never met her biological father, Lori had remarried a man named Terry Abbas, whom Cheyenne referred to as her dad. But things in the household were complicated. Terry wasn't the only adult man living there. Lori's boyfriend, Steve Staver, also stayed with the family. On its own, this wasn't necessarily alarming, but it was something locals often gossiped about and likely something Cheyenne's classmates knew as well. Yet, of all the unusual aspects of her home life, the most concerning was the house itself. When investigators arrived to interview the family, they were struck immediately by the smell. One officer later described it as one of the worst he'd ever encountered. Inside, piles of trash and dirty laundry filled nearly every room. The floors were coated in grime, and the air was thick with an unbearable stench. The living conditions were deplorable. Between this, the tangled family dynamic, and the note she'd left behind, it appeared as straightforward a runaway case as one could imagine. But as officers continued their search, they noticed something that didn't fit that explanation. Cheyenne had left behind her cell phone, something she was said to be inseparable from. Even more concerning, her jacket and shoes were still in the house as well. With winter approaching and temperatures hovering around freezing, the idea that she would have gone anywhere without them didn't make sense. It was the first sign that there might be more to Cheyenne's disappearance than anyone initially thought, prompting the investigators to delve closer into her history on social media.
Welcome to that Okay, sorry. As you all know, I'm close.
Starting almost a year before she vanished, Cheyenne began posting short, playful videos to her first YouTube channel, Cheyenne 2010. The videos showed her joking around, performing skits, and experimenting with content. While the videos might seem somewhat incoherent today, for a 13-year-old in 2011, this was fairly normal. It was clear that Cheyenne enjoyed creating content, using the channel as a space to express herself, even if very few people were watching. As her disappearance approached, however, her online activity became more noteworthy. On February 19th, 2011, she launched a second channel, Shy Love 2011.
But somebody had took my account, but I'm back on air and I'm ready to make shows.
The new channel initially followed the same format as her first, but Cheyenne eventually began including her family members in her videos. Her siblings and older brother often joined in, playing off each other naturally, creating the kind of dynamic you would expect from children of that age.
No! Ow, you bit
Now, if he
But by far, her most frequent on-screen presence, though often unwilling, was Terry Abbas, her stepfather.
That's my brother, Riley. That's that creepy guy that lives downstairs. Oh, I mean, my stepdad, Terry.
Due to the crowded living conditions, Cheyenne had little space of her own for filming, so Terry often appeared in the background. The two would occasionally joke about him being caught on camera.
There's been a lot of things changing over the news. Dad, look around. I don't want you getting caught in the camera.
Johnny, why don't you be quiet?
Okay, whatever. Okay.
These exchanges rarely went beyond typical family banter. In fact, Cheyenne appeared to have a genuine affection for Terry, posting about him multiple times on her Facebook page and referring to him fondly as her dad. As investigators continued reviewing Cheyenne's channels, the trail seemed to run cold until they found a video titled Shy Shy Love 2011's webcam video.
You know, I'm really bored. I wonder if I got anything to do.
This live stream uploaded to her channel lasted 3 minutes and 35 seconds, with the clip beginning exactly how you'd expect from Cheyenne, before she is interrupted.
I know what I can do.
But just as she began her introduction, a man unexpectedly entered the room, with only his lower half visible in the frame. Cheyenne's energy shifted instantly. She goes quiet before grabbing his hands and whispering, "I'm on a live stream. Be careful." The man acknowledges this by replying okay, but then proceeds to grab her by what appears to be the neck. This causes Cheyenne to yell stop before collapsing onto the bed, quickly regaining her composure and snapping back to her usual comedic personality. The man then approaches her again and begins slap fighting with her, quickly switching up his personality to match hers in a very obvious attempt to play it cool for the camera.
See how abusive? No, he's not abusive. No, stop!
Yes, I am. I'll pull her out.
No!
Alright.
See what I have to go through every day?
Soon after, the man leaves the room and Cheyenne continues the video as if nothing had happened.
Man, I don't know what you were going to do today. Can any of my viewers tell me what should I do?
This was the last video Cheyenne would ever upload to YouTube. Months later, she vanished, never to be seen again. The abrupt cut of the video, the shift in her expression, and the man's movements all suggested something was occurring off camera at the hands of her own stepfather, Terry Abbas.
As you will see, hi Dad. Dad, look around. I don't want you getting caught in the camera.
That's that creepy guy that lives downstairs. Oh, I mean, my stepdad, Terry.
As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered multiple accounts of Terry having spied on Cheyenne in private areas of the home, including the bathroom. The live stream itself was later believed to capture the beginning of another attack, one she may have survived only because the camera was recording, even if briefly. With the evidence mounting, investigators brought Terry Abbas in for questioning to determine what had really happened. During the interview, it didn't take long for the truth to come out.
You got your man. Hey, you got Terry Abbas. Cheyenne is not with us. She's not. Last time I remember, my hand was over her neck for some reason.
Just over her neck and doing what?
Squeezing, I guess. And I panicked.
What happened to cause that?
I have no clue. Before I knew it, I was standing over her body.
As Cheyenne grew older, Terry knew the truth about what he'd done was at increasing risk of being exposed, and Terry didn't trust her to keep that secret. And so one night, he went into the woods behind the family's home and began digging, carving out a hole several feet deep, large enough for a body. The next morning, he lured Cheyenne outside under the guise of playing a game. Once they were far enough from the house, he wrapped his hands around her neck and squeezed until she stopped moving. He then buried her in the hole he dug the night before. But that left one question, that note she left. It turned out that about a month before her disappearance, Terry had told Cheyenne they were going to play a prank on her mother and that she would pretend to run away, leaving behind a note to make it believable. Cheyenne wrote the letter, but the prank never happened. Terry kept the letter and used it later as a cover for what he'd done, creating the illusion that she had simply run away on her own. Terry Abbas was eventually sentenced to life in prison, where he remains today. In hindsight, the videos on Cheyenne's channel are far more unsettling to watch, especially that final live stream. Knowing what we do now, it's clear those clips captured only fragments of a much darker reality. Perhaps most heartbreaking of all is realizing that what the world saw on camera was just a glimpse of the abuse she endured when no one was watching.
Hi everyone, this is a YouTube video that I made as a community service.
For some of us, traveling by air is a luxury, a quick and easy way to get from point A to point B. For others, it's a source of anxiety, a genuine fear. But for 53-year-old Zahari Ahmad Shah, flying was his life. His passion took root at the age of 20 when he began studying and training to become a pilot. Years later, that passion turned into a full-time career, and over time, Zahari would log more than 18,000 hours of flight time without a single blemish on his record. As a pilot, his skills and discipline were beyond question, earning him deep respect among his peers. But outside the cockpit, he was, by all accounts, an ordinary man, someone whose life appeared stable, routine, and unremarkable. Zahari had a flourishing home life with a wife and his 3 children, and spent much of his free time with them. When he wasn't with family, he could often be found fishing, cooking, or scrolling through social media, of which one of his favorite platforms happened to be YouTube. However, Zahari wasn't just a casual viewer. He occasionally uploaded his own videos, short clips of himself that at first glance appeared ordinary and unremarkable.
And this is how it looks like.
At the time, his channel seemed destined for obscurity, but it wouldn't stay that way for long. In the end, it would take just a single day for Zahari Ahmad Shah's YouTube channel to become one of the darkest corners of the platform. It's April 27th, 2010. Zahari's YouTube channel is created. At first, it was just a place to listen to music and watch the latest viral clips circulating online. It wasn't until early 2013 that he began uploading videos of his own, and when I mentioned earlier that very little stood out about them, that may have actually been an understatement, because these videos were almost painfully ordinary. His first upload was part 1 of a 2-part instructional series on how to save money on air conditioning. In it, Zahari walks viewers through a few practical steps to reduce electricity costs, occasionally joined by his wife, who steps in to help him demonstrate.
Now you need to push the blue line of the air. So she's going to do it for 1 second.
The 2 videos were informative enough, but visually, there wasn't much to note, except for one small detail. Behind Zahari was what appeared to be a massive flight simulator set up right inside his home.
Fix the leakage or fix any problem that is in the system.
It was a device Zahari had built himself, something he used both for fun and to sharpen his piloting skills. Given his profession and passion for flying, it wasn't all that surprising. Zahari took his work seriously, but above all, he genuinely loved to fly. From there, he would go on to post 5 more videos in the same style. Low-quality home tutorials with titles like How to Properly Seal Your Windows, It's Very Effective, and How to Clean Your Air Conditioning Unit. None of these uploads were ever going to make him rich or famous, but that was never his goal to begin with. For Zahari, the channel was simply a way to help others. Every video was made with that quiet intention, without any expectation of reward. And to those who knew him, that fit perfectly with who he was. A good, honest man who just wanted to lend a helping hand. But that was then. Today, Zahari Ahmad Shah is remembered much differently, and it all traces back to one day, a day that would change not only his life, but the world's perception of air travel itself. It's March 8th, 2014. Captain Zahari reported for duty at Kuala Lumpur International Airport, the flight being a 6-hour trip to Beijing International Airport. Joining him in the cockpit was 27-year-old Farik Abdul Hamid, a first officer completing his final training flight right before earning his captain's certification. Together, the two formed a capable and experienced crew. Zahari had made this route many times before, and at 12:42 a.m., the Boeing 777 carrying 12 crew members and 227 passengers lifted off into the night on what was expected to be another routine trip to Beijing. Little did the passengers know, however, that from the moment flight lifted off, their fate was already sealed. They were about to become part of one of the most baffling and haunting events in aviation history.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing. At this hour, a desperate search is underway for MH Flight 370.
That day, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 vanished from radar less than an hour after takeoff, vanishing into thin air without an explanation. To this day, its final destination remains unknown, and at the center of it all was the plane's captain, Zahari Ahmad Shah. What truly happened on that fateful flight remains, and will likely always remain, a mystery. Yet, over the years, investigators have managed to piece together a rough outline of events, one that seems to lead toward a single disturbing conclusion. At around 1:19 a.m., Captain Zahari made contact with air traffic controllers as his plane was leaving Malaysian airspace and preparing to enter Vietnamese airspace.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night. Good night, Malaysian 370.
From there, however, Zahari would never contact the team in Vietnam. Just 2 minutes after that final message, the aircraft's transponder, the device that allows officials on the ground to track a plane's location, was manually switched off. From that moment on, the flight effectively vanished from civilian radar, invisible to the outside world except for one last system on board, a far less sophisticated automated tracker that could not be manually disabled. This backup system sent out hourly pings to satellites, and when investigators later examined those signals, they discovered something shocking. Instead of continuing its route toward Beijing, the aircraft had made a sharp 180-degree turn and had begun flying south in the direction of Australia before disappearing entirely over the Indian Ocean. This data became even more alarming in 2015 when small fragments of the aircraft began washing up on shores across several countries. Many of these pieces showed damage consistent with a high-speed impact with water, suggesting the jet had crashed violently into the ocean. Taken together, the evidence strongly indicated that the plane's journey had ended in the southern Indian Ocean, likely sinking to the ocean floor somewhere near the location of that final ping. With ocean depths in that region plunging more than 3 miles down, the possibility of ever recovering the main wreckage remains slim. Malaysia's Prime Minister would later confirm what many had already come to fear, stating,
"With deep sadness and regret that I must inform you, Flight MH370 ended in the southern Indian Ocean."
While this explanation seemed logical, it still failed to answer a crucial question. How did the plane veer so drastically off course? No electrical or navigational malfunction could have produced such a precise and deliberate series of maneuvers. That's where the focus turned to Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah himself. The transponder was turned off right after his final radio call, followed by the immediate reversal of the plane's direction. Both deliberate actions that could only have been carried out from inside the cockpit, to which only Zahari and his first officer, Farik, had access to. This instantly made the two men prime suspects, with Zahari quickly emerging as the main focus of the investigation. According to friends, family, and colleagues, Zahari's mental health had been deteriorating for months, perhaps even years. His daughter would later say her father had become, quote, unrecognizable, while others described him as emotionally unstable and in no condition to be flying. On top of that, Zahari had been struggling with his marriage. Reports claimed that he had been caught flirting with multiple women online, leading to serious tension at home and widening the rift between him and his wife, though you'd never sense it from his calm demeanor in videos he'd posted online. In those very YouTube videos, Zahari often appeared cheerful, composed, and enthusiastic. Yet, ironically, it was something in one of those early uploads that would later become a crucial piece of evidence. When investigators searched Zahari's home, they noticed the flight simulator visible in the background of his YouTube videos. Upon analyzing the simulator's data, they uncovered something alarming. Zahari had practiced flying a route nearly identical to the path that Flight 370 ultimately took before vanishing. The route was so specific and so unusual that investigators concluded it could not have been a coincidence. Even more concerning was the discovery that Zahari had attempted to delete the simulator data just 1 month before the tragedy.
Some data has been deleted from the simulator, and forensic work to retrieve this data is ongoing.
With this revelation, the narrative quickly shifted. Investigators began to suspect that Zahari may have premeditated the entire event, deliberately leading the plane off course in a murder-suicide mission. While this theory remains unconfirmed, it has become the most widely accepted explanation for what happened to the aircraft, and if true, it would mean that Captain Zaharieh Ahmad Shah intentionally caused the deaths of 239 people, making him, in effect, the most prolific killer in YouTube's history, with his channel possibly showcasing the very simulator on which this catastrophe was planned. Diana Lovejoy was a successful technical writer from the town of Carlsbad, California. While her corporate job paid the bills, her true passion was to become a triathlon athlete and to document her journey on video. This eventually led her to start a fitness blog, Lovejoy Fitness, and a YouTube channel called Heavy DJ. She launched the channel in 2008, using it over the years to capture various moments of her life, from reuniting with her parents after a long time to scuba diving with her husband. At one point, she even dabbled in creating a cooking show.
Doesn't that smell nice?
Unfortunately, Diana's channel never really gained any traction on the platform, and by March 2012, her uploads had stopped, and she appeared to move on with her life. Or at least, that's what it looked like from the outside. In reality, Diana's reason for abandoning her channel was actually personal and far more wholesome. You see, Diana and her husband Greg had been trying for a child for years. Tragically, she had suffered 8 miscarriages and was quickly losing hope. Then, in September 2012, they were finally blessed with a healthy baby boy, ending their long struggle. However, what should have been a moment of joy soon gave way to a downward spiral of stress and betrayal, eventually culminating in an assassination attempt.
Somewhere down the road, the relationship and marriage started to unravel.
Just months after their son's birth, Greg lost his job, leaving Diana as the sole breadwinner of the family. The pressure of supporting a family alone in such an expensive city, combined with the lingering trauma of her miscarriages, took a heavy toll on their marriage. It wasn't long before constant arguments became the norm. Things escalated on July 9, 2014, when Greg came home to find a police officer waiting at his door. The officer explained that Greg was not allowed to enter his own home. As it turns out, Diana had accused him of attacking both her and their son. What followed was nearly 2 years of divorce mediation, during which investigators found no evidence supporting Diana's claims, allowing Greg to secure 50-50 custody of their son. To her surprise, Diana was also ordered to pay $120,000 to Greg as part of the divorce settlement in late 2015. This is when things took a turn for the worse. Before the divorce could be finalized, Greg received a call from an anonymous number that would change everything. The voice claimed to be a private investigator Diana had recently hired, and according to him, he had solid evidence of the attacks Greg had allegedly made against Diana. Strangely, the investigator claimed he wanted to help Greg win the divorce case instead. He said he had left the documents taped to a power pole along a small hiking trail near Greg's home. Naturally, Greg found the whole situation suspicious and decided to take a friend with him to the pole on the night of September 4th, 2016. However, despite his doubts, he failed to anticipate the true intentions of the strangely helpful private investigator.
Hello, this is 911.
Yeah. My friend has just been shot.
Do you know who shot him?
There's a guy lying down like a sniper.
A sniper? Did you see him at all?
Briefly, we saw the gun, and he shot at us like 6 or 7 times.
When Greg reached the pole with his friend, a sniper opened fire at them, hitting Greg squarely in the chest. However, the bullet missed his heart by mere inches, giving him a second chance at life. By the time police arrived, the shooter had fled the scene. A quick survey of the scene revealed a pair of towels left behind. DNA tests traced them to Weldon McDavid, Diana's shooting instructor. When brought into questioning, Weldon initially denied any involvement, but the evidence was overwhelming. Investigators were able to find another set of the same towels used at the crime scene at Diana's home. Additionally, CCTV footage showed Diana buying the burner phone Weldon used to lure Greg to the secluded location. Most damning of all, investigators found the gun Weldon had used hidden in his garage rafters. By then, it was clear Diana had orchestrated the attack, likely to avoid the divorce settlement and secure full custody of her son. Diana and Weldon were arrested and tried for the attempted assassination in November 2017. Both of them were convicted, with Diana receiving 26 years to life and Weldon receiving a harsher 50 years to life. The only relief in the story is that Greg made a full recovery and now lives safely with his son.